He has recently appointed a co-pastor by the name of Karrie Turner. Now, when you see Karrie Turner, her entire Instagram is littered with provocative images of herself. But the question is, why would she be a co-pastor and dress like that?
And I want to say I am divorced because I cheated. I divorced because of my infidelity, not because of irreconcilable differences, but because I broke that covenant.
The other rumor is that this particular woman, Karrie, is a former lover. Turners, and I don't mean Tina. Although, hey, yeah, you got to give people their props now. Miss Karrie Turner, we'll talk about her. I'll give you the rundown who that is. Miss Karrie Turner does share some similarities with Tina Turner, and we'll get to that. The same way you probably don't want Tina Turner up on stage to sing a praise and worship song for you, you probably don't want to see this Karrie Turner up there. However, Jamal Bryant don't believe that. See, Jamal Bryant, Pastor Jamal Bryant, but I use that term very, very loosely, almost as loose as Karrie Turner. I use that term interchangeable with Führer. Okay, he has recently appointed a co-pastor by the name of Karrie Turner. Now, when you see Karrie Turner, she turned some heads. I'll give her that. She has turned heads, and she will continue because that's her goal. Her entire Instagram is littered with provocative images of herself. Let's just say she knows how to sell her products. She is an entrepreneur. She is good. She's good. But the question is, why would she be a co-pastor and dress like that? I'm not going to necessarily go into the whole concept of what church should be and why it shouldn't be and what it ain't and what it is. We're not talking about that. We are going to be talking about the appearance of evil while trying to put the idea of good out. See, Jamal Bryant is no stranger to one controversy and two ridiculous statements. He has always been, and seemingly has not changed, a skirt chaser. I'll call him that, a skirt chaser.
And I want to say I am divorced because I cheated. I divorced because of my infidelity, not because of irreconcilable differences, but because I broke that covenant.
But as a pastor, I don't think those days are ahead of you anymore, Jamal. I think you're supposed to put away childish things and strive towards the goal. But however, he's not doing this. Now, the other rumor is that this particular woman, Karrie, is a former lover.
My biggest regret is single-handedly destroying my marriage and the impact that it has had on my daughters.
Possibly the one behind the whole reason he's divorced. Now, if you remember Mr. Jamal, he said two things that were pretty crazy. One, he said he wanted to start growing weed at the church so he can invite more black people, because apparently everybody black do weed, and so you got to have weed. Otherwise, if you don't have weed, how you going to minister to black people? I'll leave you to figure out whether that's racist or not, but
for people that smell like weeds. No, really, is New Birth is the largest land-owning black church in America. And so my position to my deacons is, why aren't we not raising cannabis? I'll be able to bring in black males. They're able to do it legally. I'm teaching them farming.
Oh my God.
I'm helping them to enhance the ecosystem.
I mean, I'm black. I ain't never done weed, but I get that's why I'm not black. Now I know. Maybe if I start doing weed, I might get my card back. Thanks, Jamal. Thanks for the heads up. He also said this. He said that you can tell a 16-year-old not to have sex. That's one thing. But for a 30-year-old who's used to getting some, I promise you, man, these people, for a 30-year-old who's used to getting some, you need a different gospel.
I had a Zoom with all of my singles just this week, is that for me to tell 16-year-olds to be celibate is one thing. A 37-year-old who's used to getting some, I need a different kind of gospel.
So he found a different gospel for the 30-year-olds by bringing in Miss Turner. Now, if I'm being honest with myself as a dude in the flesh, y'all, I'm going to do what most of people do. I'm going to jump out the bosom real quick and explain a story to you. If I were in my flesh, man, I'd be going to church now. I'd be going to church. I mean, I'm not necessarily going for God, but you have incentive now for me to come and stare at the pulpit. Now I can come and listen. Well, not listen, I can watch. I'm now a spectator at church. Your co-pastor really is encouraging people to come forward. Standing ovation and all. I'll wait till you catch that one. If you have this as your pastor, you have major problems in your world. Major problems, and I mean major problems. One, you're supposed to avoid the very appearance of evil and do not be a stumbling block to your brother or sister. Jamal went right past that, broke through them barriers, and burned that bad boy down. He said, if you are sinning and lusting over her, that's your problem. I don't think he said that, but he has to be saying that in order to put her as a co-pastor while she's still dressing the way she dresses. Still having the Instagram she has, and still having the kind of influence over men's eyes. That now you're going to tell me, hey, a man's supposed to keep his eyes for himself just because she dresses a certain way. Okay, let's take your theory and run it down the lane for a second. With that philosophy, I should be able to walk down the streets buck naked and not have anybody look at me because they need to be able to check their eyes and don't be looking at me. Any woman could just walk down the street buck naked, and if anybody looks, it's their fault. Right? I'm supposed to be able to walk in with soiled underpants and it's pressing through my clothes. I'm supposed to smell to high heaven, and people are just supposed to say, it's on you if you're thinking something. Really? No, I have two eyes for a reason. They see what's in front of me, and they relay to my brain something that I should judge as to whether or not I should approve or disapprove of it. So don't tell me that I shouldn't be lusting when you're obviously putting something in front of me to cause me to lust. It says that in the book, where you can cause your brother to stumble. They don't care. I personally will never call Jamal Bryant a pastor, preacher, Christian, any of the sort. He's a sycophant. He's a perv. And he's proving it all the time, and he has nothing to do with God. Not a thing. Not a thing. But a lot of these pastors do just that. They use the flesh to try and reach the spirit. And I mean, if that's how you got to do about it. But let's make one thing clear. You're never going to reach the spirit via the flesh. You can destroy the flesh via the spirit, but you can never, ever attain the spirit world through the flesh. And until people start waking up to the truth of this, they will always fall for the flashy, for all of the analogies that they do on stage, for all of the fanfare in concerts, all of the events that they put on. They will fall for that because it's flashy and it appeals to something that's base. Not based, but base, a base, evil, dark, fleshly sin. If I were you, here's my piece of advice for you. Avoid Jamal Bryant at all costs. This man is dangerous, one, and two, he's heading straight to hell with gasoline drawers on. And usually when they're soaked, they're going to leave a trail, and if you're behind them, you're going to get burned up too. So don't follow Jamal, nor his BBL.